Vulcan tonight, and this is the same filter as my other two cowies take, thankfully. And right now I'm doing the lube process and filling it up with oil. I just filled it and you can see it's already sucked that up. I'm going to dose it again. And this has got two drain plugs right on this side, and the filter is on the front part of the motor on the other side. I'll show you those as I go. One plug. This is the other plug. And unfortunately, somebody did not use 22 pounds of pressure to put them on. So, let's give it a try. Oh my gosh. This is really a bad idea. Never over tighten your oil drain stuff, because that's when you will need to use new crush washers, and you can very easily strip them bastards, threads and all. So do not do this. Luckily it was able to come undone, but wowie maui. Really scary situation. Boom. So there you have it. Two plugs, if you can see that. And once again, I did not use my rubber gloves. Of course, I have a real shortage of them. I've only got three boxes of them up there. Dingledorf. But there's a nice drain in oil. And yeah, I mean, it was definitely a fresh change, but getting the good filters on there and all that good stuff is a nice thing to do. And this is when it can turn into a real fiasco if somebody over tightened that oil filter. A real nightmare. Simple things made hard. See where it is right there. Pretty easy to get to. I think it should be. I like to put these on first, so I'm sure of getting a nice fit with it. The normal. This bike has got two drain bolts, and they are right there and right there. As you can see, both the holes dripping. And the filter is right there, and it is the same filter as my other two awesome cowies. I have, of course, gotten, like I've stated in the past, either a K&N for good oil flow, or it has that 17 millimeter bolt head on it. But these filters are better quality. The internals are all metal. There's more filter media area, and the flow rates are very good. And of course, with the more filter media area, they filter better. Wicks or Napa filters, same thing. So that's my baby. She's gonna get some good high quality oil in her. First one wasn't charged, I guess. But this filter and those drain plugs were on very tightly. And normally 18 to 22 pounds for the filter. And the drain plugs are only about 22 pounds. So you do not need to put them on tight. And putting those in too tight can very easily strip them. And that's when you start deforming your crush washers. And then you definitely should replace them at that point. Make sure you clean everything up as good as you can so you can really get a good picture of what everything looks like. And clean up around your oil filter area nicely. As you can see, this oil was still in very good condition, but I do not know what the heck was on it, and it had a Kawasaki OEM oil filter. Those, believe it or not, are not nearly as good a quality than the filters I talked about earlier. So definitely stick with a K&N for high flow rates and that convenient bolt head, or I recommend always using the Napa's or Wix filter. Oil filter, this little sucking cap does not want to come off. Then you fucking idiot, man. Ridiculous. See how much torque you gotta put on that stupid thing when they do that? Definitely unnecessary. When you get a new bike, I would recommend douching it out. If the oil looks a little iffy, with some Marvel Mystery Oil or something like that, just to help flush the inside of your motor. Then just let it run out, you know, don't start it or nothing. And, you know, this bike's going to be getting the Motul 540. And, it's going to have good quality oil in it for the winter time. Be a lot easier starting, too. Putting the Motul compared to the Valvoline 1040 through my funnel, you have to wait a good long time for that Valvoline to flow through my little skinny funnel, as to where you can literally just pour that Motul, and you know, that's easier circulation, and you've still got the 40. Our 17mm as well. That's what the drain bolts are in the other two bikes. It's probably relatively common. I think I'm going to tip it up just to make sure it's all drained out. This bike is 5.3 quarts, which is excellent, because extra oil capacity is never a bad thing. I also recommend always threading stuff in by hand. That way you're sure of not stripping anything once again. Oh well. Really made a lot more come out, didn't it? Cool. Yeah, and had I known what kind of oil and stuff he used, I'm sure he probably had a Cowie dealer do it. So they probably used the standard oil. So, you kind of gotta make your own decision on what you want in your bike. But there you have it. Once I pop those back in, she'll be ready to roll. And the Electroglide, I got to take a nice close look at that. The bags are definitely slimmer on the sides, And it doesn't have full floorboards. They're only about this big. They're almost like a regular peg. And see how these float? Both of them? Of course, the Cowie's front ones do, but the rear ones don't. And mine's got a nice big kick pedal for the rocker shifter. See that bad boy? There's nothing finer than stomping on that monster to shift up. Really cool. And I cleaned around that oil ring, so when I open and close it, little bits of dirt doesn't fall in that sucker. I'm actually going to have to clean underneath the bike. I have not yet done that. And that's the result of one of the scratches. I had one on each side of those rear bags where people are careless and just swing their feet over that beautiful paint. Why bother being careful, right? Just a $17,500 price bike. But another couple go-overs and that should be completely gone, because that was very, very noticeable to begin with. Oil plugs to look like when you're done. Give them a good cleaning and observe, you know, what you can about them. Make sure they're not stripped, and if they are, I recommend you just go get a new one. Because if those are stripped, next step is you strip the inside of your motor. And that's a no-no. And a big pain in the butt. So I cleaned up the bottom of it a little bit more, and it's pretty well stopped dripping. So we're going to reinstall the plugs. Pretty neat that it's got two. I wonder why that is. There's the other hole. Finding that second hole. Nasty. See, I could feel something wasn't quite right in there. I don't know why. Must have been a little bit of grit. Not like grits and gravy either. The bad kind of grit. That time it went in smoothie. That's what you want. Hand tighten them and try to make as much of an oil mess on your floor as you can. That's always a good idea. No, it's not. Like I said, just tap it in. Just give it a little tappy. Try not to tip a 900-pound bike over on yourself, too. That's always a good piece of advice. Just give it a little checker. Oh, yeah. She likes it just like that. Nice. That's the way it's done. There's my motor. So no stuff gets plopped in it by accident. This bike does have a dipstick as well, which is different. Of course, with that big long stroke motor, probably a window would be a little odd. Only does it the motor not have to run dry to fill that filter up, but you get a truer read before you ever even have to start your motor up, because you know that 0.3 of a 0.3 of a quart is already in that filter, or close to it. You can see that, but look at how that is now. It was clean before, but that's a really clean and green. Thank you, Motul. In case you missed it. Degrees here, and I just barely started that at the beginning of my oil change, my salamander heater. I gotta get a tank for that heater. That's my new one I was telling you about. And I'm gonna start the old baby up. But she's cold, as you can see. The motor's all frosty. Even the top of the heads are. See? I ain't lying like that Ducati guy that says, oh, I keep it covered up and I pretended to walk in and start it. Cold. Haha. We all know Ducatis don't start good even when they're warm. Just kidding. I like Ducatis. Ready, baby? Have I done everything I needed to? Oops. Kicked over my flashlight. We're letting her circulate. We're letting her circulate. Get up in there. Get up in there. Letting that new Wix filter do its job. Get all that old scum churned up and cleaned out. That's the way we like it. That's the way we love it. I think I'm going to run that little heater there for a couple days until I get my gas. I do start at the Harley dealership tomorrow. So that'll be cool. I'd really love to bring this. It's actually supposed to be a low of 40 tomorrow, but I don't know if I can trust it at frickin' 3 in the morning. A real man wouldn't worry about it, I know. Look at that mama. I love this bitch. She is a big one. Look at them beautiful gauges. Oh yeah. That's hot rod styling from the 60s, baby. Tell you what. Cowie really does a good job. I know some guys have to have a Harley, but I tell you what, this has got everything that Harley's got and then some, in my opinion. Especially this rear heater for that rear cylinder. Or blower, I mean. I always call it a heater. Like it's going to blow down and keep your feet warm or something. Whoops, there goes my sheet. I wonder what's on the tune box. I never told you too, I found out the radio gets louder. It can sense like how loud it needs to get for when you go faster. So it automatically turns up when you're riding. Really cool. Temperature gauge. Sounding good. I know Cowie exhaust don't hurt you, but I better not asphyxiate myself. Cowie exhaust is like, you should have some every day, just to clean out the rest of the filth in the air.